get an expert view. Brendan Guilfoyle has been a football administrator. He works for P&A Partnership based in Leeds. Brendan, thanks for being with us.
Morning, Shane.
And trying to make some sense of all of this. I mean, this is all down to where the golden share is, which is the company that is the football, the essence, the entity of the football club, isn't it? That's what we've got to determine.
Yeah, it is in a sense. What the administrator's doing soon, we're expecting today, aren't we, is delivering his proposals to creditors. So his tenure, sorry, using long words, but his time as administrator is brief. It's an interim measure, and what we've got to see is how he's going to get the club out of administration and on to the next stage. Now, because of this sort of complicated landscape, he's also going to, we assume, report the outcome of his investigations into where the golden share is. So what we suspect is that the trade of the football club has been transferred up to the holdings company, hasn't it? That's what's been said by Sisu. Mm-hmm. But what was left behind in the CCFC, in the club, was the lease at the Rico Stadium, and it seems the golden share, because the Football League have said the golden share is with the football club. So I expect his proposals in some shape or form to try and finish that job that started, so that the football club was transferred up to the holdings company. We think that some of the players' contracts are certainly up there, and so I expect his proposals in some way to provide some means of getting that share up to holdings, and then for holdings to carry on operating the club. That seems to be what CISU are about. But
so, will do you think the administrator will do that as a way forward of trying to get creditors paid? I
do suspect he will. Yeah, I do suspect he will. But
so then really, where the golden share is doesn't make a bit of difference if the administrator is going to say, well, we're going to move that to the operating company and rather than the one in administration. Then it matters not where it is, does it really?
It does, because movement of the golden share. So what we're talking about is if you like the insolvency law of this company, which says, right, this company's in administration, how are you going to exit?
Yeah.
So I can see Sisu wanting to continue to own the club in some shape or form, because they've got, in plain language, they've got so much money in it. So I've just a suspicion that that's what will happen. But if you're going to move that golden share as administrator, as you're saying, then you've got to comply, you've got to work in accordance with the Football League insolvency policy. Now, and that's the challenge in football, not only for us administrators, not only do we have to work in accordance with the law of the country, but we have to blend that, if you like, or merge that with the policy of the Football League. Now, the Football League want, as you've indicated, they want an arrangement with creditors, and they want some payment to creditors.
Yeah.
But the biggest creditor in all of this is Sisu. So they can vote through any proposals that the administrators got, but and as it were, overwhelm the claim of the stadium company, ACL. But the difficulty is for the administrator and therefore for Sisu, if they do what I suspect they do, is that the Football League want assurance that the club, the new club as it would be in holdings, finishing off the job Sisu started. In those circumstances, the Football League want assurance that the club has security of tenure at a stadium in the Coventry area for 10 years.
Right.
And they haven't, because what they did immediately they went into administration was hand the lease back.
Okay, let me just ask another question then. I mean, we're with you so far on what you're saying, but will the administrator take any weight from the offer that's on the table? We're going to talk to Joe Elliott in an hour, and he's going to he's putting a bid in today to the administrator. So on the one hand, you've got all the things for the administrator to consider that you've just outlined, but then on the other, he's got a bid on the table. Yeah. What kind of weight will that carry? Will that be? Will he seriously look at that and think, well, is that a better option?
Yeah, he has to. He has to see whether that gives a better outcome for creditors.
But also for the Football League as well. So if they're coming with a bid that says we're going to buy half the Rico and that's where we'll play and we'll guarantee that, then does that trump what Sisu are saying, which is, well, we're trying to find another ground?
Yes, they've gone past that point then, yeah. And that's the problem for the administrator, because the recent precedents are from the Football League, and the most recent one was the one I'm aware of was Rotherham.
Mm.
If you're Coventry City, Sky Blues, you've got to play in Coventry. That's the league rule.
Mm.
Now, Rotherham lost their ground went into administration, and the owner of their ground wanted to redevelop it. So they went to Sheffield, next city, as it were, for a few years. But in doing so, they had to give the Football League a bond of over £1 million, and they had to satisfy the Football League that they were building a new stadium. Now, they gave the bond, and the council actually gave the bond in Rotherham, and of course it was public knowledge that the new stadium was being built. So the league were assured, both financially and by events that were happening, that the club's tenure in Sheffield was only temporary. So they knew they were going back to Rotherham, and they have done, and everything's okay. So the difficulty with Coventry trying to find another stadium is it's not really practical, because it's not going to fit in with the Football League rules, which require Coventry to play in Coventry.
That could be a key factor then, couldn't it? That could hamper Sisu's ability to put a credible deal forward.
Definitely, Shane. It is a major stumbling point, which means that rather than issuing statements saying, "Oh, help us fans look for another stadium," if Sisu are going to do what I suspect they want to do, then they're going to have to sit down with ACL or another stadium in Coventry, but I'm not aware of one. But you're local, you'll know much better than me. That I'm probably right. They're going to have to sit down with ACL and sort out a lease, which has got to be at least 10 years long.
Brendan?
Otherwise, the administrator can't do what they want. I suspect they want to do, and he'll have to talk to the Joe Elliott Consortium, because it seems they would have the means to get that lease.